everyone. Welcome to EDUSOFT. Today we are going to start on a very new topic, that is AI project cycle, that is problem acquisition. In this session, we will going to learn what is problem acquisition and how we can work on our different problem solving scenarios. So before starting, we must know that while we are working on a project, we work on it as a whole. A project and its plan go hand in hand. The final purpose of any project is to get the final result. Like this only, AI project too has certain well-defined stages. So what are the different stages while we are working on AI project cycle? Number one is problem scoping. This is the first, or we can say the initial stage that defines the goals to be achieved through AI system and the problems we are going to address. Number second is problem acquisition. It means collecting and compiling the relevant data in such a way that it is used to train the AI system. Number third is data exploration. What does this mean? It means having the relevant data collected, going through it, and analyzing the data for some useful information. Number fourth is modeling data. What does this mean? It means presenting the data to the AI system in such a way that they should perform predictions which will finally help in project cycle. Number last one is evaluation. So it means analyzing the output, or we can say predictions of the AI system, and select the best suited AI system which is to be used for the final output. So while we are working on AI project cycle, we have to go through some of the stages to achieve the final output. And what are those stages? They are problem scoping, problem acquisition, data exploration, modeling of data, and the last one is evaluation. We have already covered the first one, that is AI project cycle problem scoping. Link of that video is given in the description box. You can go through it and watch the full video for better understanding. So coming to next slide. Coming to this session, that is AI project cycle data acquisition. We know that data is the biggest asset for the society and economy today. We already know that AI system works on the lot of data for the training of the machine system, or we can say machine algorithms. So the data is divided into two parts. Number one is training data and number second is testing data. Coming to first part, that is training data. The part is used to train the machine system. So the data which is used to train the machine system, it is called training data. The other part of the data is used to test the performance. The data which is used to test the performance of AI model, it is called testing data. Now coming to data part. What we have to make sure about the data which we are going to acquire. Number one is relevance. Data should not be out of context. It should be relevant. It is important to identify the context of the problem during the problem scoping stage. The data which is relevant to the problem is only acquired. Number second is age. So data should not be too historic or too recent. There has to be a balance to it. It should not be too historic and it should not be too recent. Number third one is accuracy. Data values should be correct and in proper format. Number fourth is volume. We can say that higher the volume of data, better would be the training of the machine. Number fifth is richness. Richness refers to the variety of data we are acquiring in a data set. This directly relates to the volume of data. Number six is format. In many AI applications, different formats also help in better training of machine learning. Number last one is data source. So data accuracy depends on the source of the data from where it is acquired. Like if data is acquired from some public domain like internet, so we may say that it is not to be authentic. But if the same data is collected from the government sites, so we can say that the data is authentic. So while acquiring the data, we have to work or we have to keep in mind about the following points about the relevance of that data to our context, about the age of that data, accuracy of that data, volume and richness we are having in the particular data set we are working upon, format and the data source from where that data is to be acquired. Now coming to next part, that is activity part. So we have one activity over here that is related to the library management system. What is this activity? Let's see. A college library has several thousand books. A school administration observed in a monthly feedback from the students that it takes a lot of time for students to browse through the books and select the right ones for studies. The school has an online library management system app where students can search books, but still it is difficult to browse several categories of books. The IT consultant suggested an intelligent book recommendation system that must know the reading habits, preferences, and frequency of issuing the books of the students, and on the basis of that, it should recommend the top 5 most relevant books to the students. So such system could also help the students, or we can say could also help the college to buy the most useful new books and classify the least read books. So in this scenario, or we can say in this activity, what we have to do? First of all, we have to analyze the problem. कि जो हमारी एक्टिविटी है वहां पे कौन सी प्रॉब्लम हमारे पास आ रही है वो हम किससे एनालाइज कर सकते हैं. फॉर दैट व्हाट वी हैव टू वर्क अपॉन, वी हैव टू वर्क अपॉन डेटा स्कोपिंग. लाइब्रेरी मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम में जो एक्टिविटी हमारे सामने स्क्रीन पे अपियर हो रही है, यहाँ पे जो प्रॉब्लम है वो क्या है? That it takes a lot of time for students to browse through the books and select the right ones for studies. तो ये हमारी क्या है? ये प्रॉब्लम हो गई. And what is the solution to that problem? The solution is in an intelligent book recommendation system that must know the reading habits, preferences, and frequency of issuing the books. So what we have seen till now, we have seen in problem scoping that first of all, we have to analyze the problem. And this alone, all by problem scoping. It means identifying and defining the problem and then identifying the goals, or we can say solutions to achieve that problem, which will require the analysis. And for this analysis, what we have to do, we have to acquire some data. So now we have to learn, or we are going to see how we can acquire the data, that is data acquisition. So acquiring the data to train the machine on machine learning has two aspects. Number one, data source, and number second is data acquisition process. When we work upon data source, number one, that is database of library system, students reviews and feedbacks, library management app, raw and flat files and spreadsheets. So depending on the context of problem as considered during the problem scoping stage, there could be a different sources from where we can acquire the data. So what are these different sources? Like in our case, we can acquire the data by database of library system. We can acquire the data by student reviews and feedbacks. We can acquire data through library management app, or we can say raw and flat files like a spreadsheet. Number second one is data acquisition process. So depending on the source of data, we can acquire the data by different methods. Number one, like organized format data, that is through spreadsheets in a tabular form. Applying queries on data sets directly from the hard copy, web scraping, live data, pen and paper methods like feedbacks of the students. So while acquiring the data, that is the in data acquisition project cycle, we have two aspects. Number one is data source and number second is data acquisition process. While we are acquiring the data, we have to work, or we have to get into this. What are the different sources from where I can acquire the data? So if we are talking about our activity, that is the library management system, we can acquire the data from the database of that library system. We can acquire the data from student reviews and feedback. After acquiring or after identifying the sources from where we can acquire the data, the problem comes how we can acquire that data. What are the different processes from where we can acquire those data? So different process includes whether that data is available in the organized format or that data is available in unorganized format. Whether we are acquiring that data from the authentic sites or we can acquire that data from the unauthentic sites. So here in our library management system, if we talk about that, we can acquire the data through the database system. And in database system, there is data that is available in the organized format. We can also get the data like pen and paper methods by the feedback. We can say student reviews and feedback system. In this, the data is not in an organized format, the data is in the unorganized format. So there are two different aspects of the data acquisition project cycle. So coming to our next part, next slide, when we analyze a problem area for scoping, we identify various elements that comprise the text of problem area. A system map is a tool to show the relationship among various elements of a problem area in a graphical format. System map shows the interconnections of elements of a system and helps us in understanding the complex issues. Coming to library management system. In a library system, when a reader issues the book, the number of issues will increase. It means that what we will get to know, we will get to know the new book purchase or the least book issue. We know that when the readers are more book issues, which will eventually lead to higher popularity of that book. So what we are doing over here, by data scoping, what we have done, we identify the problem and we identify the suitable solutions through data scoping. After that, what we have to do, we have to acquire the data to train our machine algorithms. For that, on which part we have to work upon? We have to work upon the number of issues part of our book system. We have to work upon the students' feedback and the student review part for the data acquisition. We have to work on 2 points over here. Number first is that data acquisition is a complex task due to variety of data and the data sources we are working upon. Number second part is data acquisition from various sources cannot be used immediately to train the AI system. What we have to do on that, we have to explore that data for our AI project cycle. So in next session, what we will going to learn, we will going to learn about data exploration for AI project cycle. What we have learned till now, number first, data used to train the machine is called the training data. Data used to evaluate the performance of the machine is called the testing data. Data acquisition has two aspects. Number one, data source and data acquisition process. A system map is a tool to show the relationship among various elements of a problem area. We have learned in this session about the data acquisition and how we can acquire the data from different sources and what are the processes to acquire that data from those sources. In next session, we will going to learn about data exploration. So if you have any doubt in this session, you can ask me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much.